What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mobile Hunter channel. I'm Chris Leppert, and today we have a pretty exciting announcement for you. Hawke Optics is dropping the Endurance Glass Mountain Hunter 3-18 by 44 second focal plane rifle scope. We're pretty excited about it. Let's check it out. We are going to make a little comparison. We've got the Leupold, I believe this is the VX6HD. It's a pretty nice scope. This scope, I've been told, could possibly give it a run for its own money. This is less than half the price of the Leupold, and I just wanted to compare them and also kind of give you a rundown of this scope. Not everybody can go get I don't know what this thing even is. I think in some stores it can be as high as like $2,300. This scope, I believe MSRP is like $899. So saving a lot of money. That's still a lot of money, but not anywhere near this Leupold. A few facts. I got some notes on my phone here. So first and foremost, this is only 20.7 ounces, which has me a little excited. Right away, it's got the Leupold beat. Now, sometimes better glass will weigh more. Probably most of the time, actually. But we're going to find out. This has got a 30 millimeter main tube. It's got locking windage and elevation turrets. So for those of you guys that have multi-reticle scopes, you don't have to do that. You just adjust your turret, lock it, and aim dead on, and you can go shoot out to some pretty ridiculous yardages, depending on what rifle and ammo setup you have. The other thing that has me kind of excited, that I think a lot of people are still lacking somehow, is it's got the shake wake illumination. So if you get into low light and even sometimes crazy psychotic bright light, where you got a lot of light reflection and everything going on, that can help you out a lot. And then, to add to that, you're not going to just forget about it, and then when you go to take a shot, the animal just lives because nothing lights up. It'll shut off. As Jeff was saying earlier, this thing gets put away in a safe and you forget, and I forget everything all the time. This is going to turn off and then wake right back up once you open your safe. When you go to look through the scope, because you're in love with your scope, you'll see it. You can turn it off then. So first things first, we're going to pop the old Leupold off of here and pop this on, get it mounted properly, and then my buddy Jeff and I are going to head out to a farmer's place, and we're going to shoot our guns, and we're just going to show you, first thing, how to bore sight this without a bore sight, and then we'll zero it in out to 100 and maybe take a 200 or 300 yard shot, and just let you know our thoughts on this scope here versus the Leupold, and what we think about it. Let's mount this sucker. All right, so we've got the Hawke Mountain Hunter sitting in the tally rings here. We're gonna go ahead and put our top caps back on and start to get all this set up. So it's pretty straightforward. There's 4 bolts in each cap here. So we're just gonna start them off by hand and get them tight. Just snug them up a little bit, because we will have to move this scope a little bit.
You don't want to get them too tight to where you can't move the scope anymore, because you're going to have to cant it side to side to get the reticle vertical, and you're going to have to move it back and forth to get the um, eye relief correct for whoever's the shooter. So we're going to work on that here in just a second. Once we get these bolts all snugged up in there. So a quick tip when you're mounting up your scope, like this Mountain Hunter here, you've got these gaps on the sides of the scope rings where the top cap meets the bottom cap. You want to make sure that all of these gaps are the same on both sides and front to back. That way you get even clamping pressure on the scope and you don't have any distortion in this main tube or anything like that. You also want to go in a like a cross pattern, so like starting here, come over here, come back this way, and then cross again. That way you can make sure you get everything really even. All right, so what we're going to do now is get this reticle lined up vertically. What's nice about this XLR chassis on this rifle is it's got a bubble level built into it. So if you don't have that, what you need to do is you get the rifle perfectly level. There's tools that you can use to do that. Some are levels that'll sit like on the top of your Picatinny rail that goes across here. They have barrel clamp levels that you can put on there. Luckily, this one has one built into the chassis, so we've already got that leveled out. And then what you need to do is you want to put the gun or the rifle scope, the Mountain Hunter, on the highest power, because that's going to be the most difficult eye relief for the shooter. So you want to have the person who owns the gun there, preferably. And we've got this snugged in there, but you can still move it side to side and front to back if you need to. So we're going to have him look through the scope at 18 power and just double check that his eye relief is good, and that way we can move the scope back and forth wherever we need to go. Because once you crank it down to 3 power, that's going to be the easiest to see through. Once you got it cranked up to 18, that's where it gets more difficult. So you want to try to set this at 18 or your highest magnification whenever you're mounting up a scope. You able to see through that scope pretty well?
I think it needs to come back towards my eye.
And this is why we left the rings a little loose.
That's better. I think it could come just a little more. Maybe a little more. Keep going. We're almost there. Just a touch more. I think we're there.
All right, so that's all level. Now we're just going to need to look through it. There's a couple different ways you can do this. Normally I would hang like a string with a weight on the end of it so that you have a perfectly vertical line. And then you can just look through the scope and line that reticle up with that string. There's things you can do where you shine a flashlight through the front of the scope onto a white wall, and you'll be able to see the reticle there. And then you can use like a level or the string or whatever to level it vertically that way too.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we've got the Hawke Mountain Hunter here mounted up. We've got the eye relief set front to back where Chris likes it. So now we're going to set the vertical on the reticle. We've got the chassis leveled here, so we know the gun is perfectly level left to right. Now we're going to shine our flashlight through the front of the scope and project the image onto the wall here, and then we can level it from there. You just shine it through the front, projects a nice little picture of your reticle there. Nope. Oh. Yeah, I guess you can use it that way. Just level your
Okay.
bubble there.
Whew. She's touchy. I think that's pretty damn close.
And as you can see, we've got the vertical right on that edge there. It looks pretty close. We could use just a slight adjustment. What do you think? I think that looks pretty dang good.
That is... Dude, I don't know how you could get any more leveler. That's cool.
All right, so we're gonna start by tightening these down just a little bit more, each one, and doing it in a crossing pattern. Because there is a chance that when you tighten these down, it could kind of cant that scope a little bit. So I'm gonna get them a little bit tighter, and then we can recheck it. Again, trying to go back and forth in a cross pattern to try to keep all these gaps in the top scope caps even. So we've got it pretty well snug. I don't think it's going to move any more from there. So let's check it one more time before we torque everything down. Just get your level set there at the bottom.
I'm trying to move it a little closer for you here. It's pretty goddamn level.
Yeah, that looks good to me. I'm moving the flashlight around a little bit so it's moving, but yep. So we're good there. Now we're just going to torque them down. These rings will take 18 inch-pounds on each of these screws. So I've got just a little wheel or fat wrench here that I'm going to use to torque them down. And we're just going to go until they click.
I got a question. Is it inch-pounds or foot-pounds?
Inch-pounds.
It is inch-pounds?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
18 foot-pounds would be way too much. Go around in a crossing pattern until they click. I always go through them twice just to double check everything's good. Because sometimes when you tighten down one, the other one it'll kind of loosen it up a little bit. So I always go through twice. Again, staying in my cross pattern here.
We're going to check it again, you think?
Yeah, you might.
Okay.
So that's all torqued down. And double check we're level back here. Yep, that's all good.
Let's say that's about where we want to be.
All right. So now we got the scope eye relief set. The scope's level. Now we just got to go shoot it. All right, so we're out here about to start shooting. What we're going to do now is bore sight this gun. It's just like a rough bore sight just to get you on paper, basically. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to pull the bolt out all the way. And then we're going to look down the barrel of the gun and get it pointed at our target. And then after we get the gun pointed at the target, we're going to try not to touch the gun as much as possible, and we're going to look through our scope and see where that reticle is pointed. And we want to get it pretty close to what we're seeing through the barrel. And that's going to get us just pretty close and get us on paper. You look straight down the end of the buttstock here. And I've got our target in the circle of the barrel down there at 100 yards. And I'm going to look down the scope, and it looks like we need to come up and to the left a pretty good amount. So I'm going to pop up this locking turret. All right, so now that we've got the elevation set pretty close, we're going to adjust the windage over. It's just got to come to the left a little bit. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now, all we gotta do is shoot it.
All right, so we ran out of light and I had to go back. My buddy Matt and I drew rifle bear tags along with my archery elk tag out in Colorado. So we both needed to make sure our rifles were dialed in. I was already in the process of doing this video, so I invited him out. So there's a bunch of the holes that you can see in the upper right and a few in the lower left that are from his gun. I only put 4 rounds in these next clips coming up, and both of them clover leafed, as you'll see in a second. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of give my thoughts on this. I'm pretty impressed. Uh, I always get nervous when we do videos like this because I never want to have to call or text somebody and tell them that their product sucks. Hawke sponsors our podcast, so I never, it always worries me when you might have to make that phone call, and we don't have to make that call. We actually get to make a fun phone call that I'm excited to make. This scope is a very, very good value. I will be super upfront with you guys. I wanted so bad to, there we go. I wanted so bad to compare it to this Leupold here. And as you can see, it's a little shorter by about an inch or so. And it's a few ounces lighter, but I don't feel like you can compare the glass unless you mount both scopes on a gun and align them to your eye and then look at them in the same lighting situation. What I will say is that I'm probably on the spectrum when it comes to noticing tiny details. There are things that almost flare in my brain. It's tough to explain. And so when my buddy Jeff, who you saw in the video, mounted this to my gun and I looked through it, I thought, oh, that's a nice scope. Well, then he handed me his gun, which has a pretty nice scope on it. And it was not, I'll say it this way, it did not look anywhere near as nice as that. I do not notice a difference with this. This is very nice. It's got the shake wake illumination, which again is going to be phenomenal for certain lighting situations. A lot of times low light, but that could come into play during a crazy bright light situation where you just need a different color than black. You never know. And I'm extremely impressed with the fact that it is zeroed. Another thing that I wanted to bring to light, and then we'll let you guys go because it's been a long video and there's not even been like cinematic editing or anything like that. It's been pretty dry, but we did not have a good rest when we went to the range with that bog. I bought it on an auction. I forget what the thing's called, but it's a scam. The bearing in it is bad. So you had to hold it still. You didn't have like a solid rest. So when me and Matt went back, as you could clearly see, we had a bench rest and I got to rest it on my pack. All those shots were taken at 100 yards. The second series of shots at the paper target, that was at 103 yards exactly. So overall, I think, I mean, if I had to go back and redo it, I don't think that I would buy this scope. I would buy this one. It's lighter, it's more compact, and the glass seems just as good. And, you know, time will tell when it comes to durability and everything. And of course, while we do have a relationship with those guys, if something screws up, we've got to let you know about it because all we have is our word and our integrity. So with that being said, thank you so much to everybody that tuned in to this long video. I hope some of the tips and tactics for mounting a scope, aligning a scope, getting everything set up helped somebody. And if you have any questions about any of the endurance glass through Hawke Optics, I've got the spotter, binos, you name it, and now this scope. They're phenomenal, but reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, Christopher Leppert, and I hope to see you guys at the Mobile Hunters Expo this weekend, August 22nd through 24th. Take it easy, guys. Thanks again.